Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. This is me, Nadia Rajput from DESI TV USA. Let's have a look at the headlines. Two Chinese tankers laden with oil exited the Strait of Hormuz on Wednesday. President Donald Trump said on Tuesday that the United States could launch fresh military strikes against Iran within days if negotiations fail. US Vice President JD Vance said on Tuesday that the United States and Iran have made a lot of progress in their talks and neither side wants to see a resumption of the military campaign. Russian President Vladimir Putin arrived in Beijing late on Tuesday for talks with his Chinese counterpart and longtime good friend Xi Jinping, intending to show their ties are unshakable days after a visit by Donald Trump. Let's look into details. Two Chinese tankers laden with oil exited the Strait of Hormuz on Wednesday. Shipping data showed brightening hopes that the US-Israeli war on Iran may soon be resolved after positive comments from the US President and his deputy. US President Donald Trump said on Tuesday the war would be over very quickly, while Vice President JD Vance talked of progress in talks with Tehran about an agreement to end hostilities. "We are in a pretty good spot here," Vance told a White House press briefing. Trump made his comments a day after saying he had paused a planned resumption of hostilities following a new proposal by Tehran to end the conflict. "I was an hour away from making the decision to go today," Trump told reporters at the White House on Tuesday. Iran leaders are begging for a deal, he claimed, adding that a new US attack would happen in the coming days if no agreement were reached. The United States has been struggling to end the war. It began with Israel nearly 3 months ago. Trump has repeatedly said during the conflict that a deal with Tehran was close and similarly threatened heavy strikes on Iran if didn't reach an accord. The US president is under intense political pressure at home to reach an accord that would reopen the Strait of Hormuz, a key route of global supplies of oil and other commodities. President Donald Trump said on Tuesday that the United States could launch fresh military strikes against Iran within days if negotiations fail, even as Washington and Tehran continued indirect efforts to reach a deal aimed at preventing a renewed escalation in Middle East conflict. Speaking to reporters at the White House, Trump revealed he had been an hour away from authorizing a new attack before postponing the move following request from Gulf Arab states seeking more time for diplomacy. "Well, I'm saying 2 or 3 days, maybe Friday, Saturday, Sunday, something maybe early next week, a limited period of time, because we can't let them have a new nuclear weapon," Trump said, while insisting Iran's leadership was begging for a deal. The remarks came amid a fragile ceasefire that has remained intact since April 8, following weeks of US-Israeli strikes on Iran and retaliatory attacks across the region. The war launched in late February, triggered widespread instability, disrupted energy markets, and intensified fears of a broader regional confrontation.
मरियम को ईद हमेशा ईद की तरह महसूस नहीं होती जब तक कि आप जैसा कोई उसके साथ खुशी का लम्हा या कुर्बानी का खाना न बांटे। लेकिन वो अकेली नहीं है। दुनिया भर में कई खानदान ऐसे दिन का इंतजार करते हैं। अल्लाह ताला का इरशाद है कि अल्लाह तक न उनका गोश्त पहुंचता है न खून, बल्कि उस तक तुम्हारा तकवा पहुंचता है। आपकी कुर्बानी के जरिए हेल्पिंग हैंड खाने के अलावा लोगों की परवरिश, देखभाल और वकार का ख्याल करता है। इस ईद पर अपनी कुर्बानियाँ हेल्पिंग हैंड से बुक करें।
US Vice President JD Vance said on Tuesday that the United States and Iran had made a lot of progress in their talks and neither side wants to see a resumption of military campaign. "We think that we have made a lot of progress. We think the Iranians want to make a deal," Vance told reporters at a White House briefing. Vance said he had just spoken to Trump, who stressed that the core issue for the US is that Iran can never have a nuclear weapon. "If that happens," Vance said, "countries around the Gulf would then want their own weapon, and then other countries across the world would as well. We want to keep the number of countries that have nuclear weapons small, and that's why Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon," he said. He reiterated that Washington believed that Iran wanted to reach an agreement while warning that the administration of President Donald Trump was prepared to relaunch military action if necessary. The president has asked us to negotiate in good faith, and that's exactly what we have done, Vance said. He added, however, that option B would involve launching fresh military operations, but that's not what the president wants, and I don't think it's what the Iranians want either, Vance said. The US Vice President said Washington saw an opportunity to improve long-strained ties between Iran and the United States. Russian President Vladimir Putin arrived in Beijing late on Tuesday for talks with his Chinese counterpart and longtime good friend Xi Jinping, intending to show their ties are unshakable days after a visit by Donald Trump. The confirmation of Putin's trip came just hours after Trump wrapped up his visit on Friday, the first to China by a US president in nearly a decade, and one aimed at stabilizing their turbulent relations. Putin arrived at Beijing Capital International Airport around 11:15 p.m. on Tuesday, where he was greeted by Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi and a military band. Russia-China relations have reached a truly unprecedented level, Putin said in a video address delivered before his state visit to China. The president noted that regular mutual visits and Russia-China top-level talks are an important and integral part of our joint efforts to promote the entire range of relations between our two countries and unlock their truly limitless potential. That's all for now. Keep watching DESI TV USA. Please like, subscribe, share, and comment, and don't forget to watch our channels DTV, NN, and DESI TV.
मरियम को ईद हमेशा ईद की तरह महसूस नहीं होती जब तक कि आप जैसा कोई उसके साथ खुशी का लम्हा या कुर्बानी का खाना ना बांटे। लेकिन वो अकेली नहीं है। दुनिया भर में कई खानदान ऐसे दिन का इंतजार करते हैं। अल्लाह ताला का इरशाद है कि अल्लाह तक ना उनका गोश्त पहुंचता है ना खून, बल्कि उस तक तुम्हारा तकवा पहुंचता है। आपकी कुर्बानी के जरिए हेल्पिंग हैंड खाने के अलावा लोगों की परवरिश, देखभाल और वकार का ख्याल करता है। इस ईद पर अपनी कुर्बानियाँ हेल्पिंग हैंड से बुक करें।
Neurological care is a pressing healthcare challenge in Pakistan. That's why Helping Hand USA is building Kind R, a world-class hospital with 130 plus clinics that is set to establish new standards for neurological care in Pakistan. As the first phase nears completion, anticipation is growing for the launch in the second half of 2025. Give zakat and sadaqah through Helping Hand USA today and join this historic endeavor to redefine future healthcare in Pakistan.